Okay, for this one, I'm finding dy dx for that curve. So let's go ahead and take the derivative implicitly with respect to x. So I'll have 1 over 3x to the fourth times the derivative of 3x to the fourth, which will be 12x to the third, equals, here I've got a double chain rule, so it'll be e to the sine y times derivative of sine y is cosine y times the derivative of y is dy dx, plus the derivative of y again is dy dx. Now I can factor out the dy dx and divide by what's left over. So over here on the left-hand side, I could simplify that to 4 over x. Once I divide 12 by 3 and x cubed divided by 4, that's all that's left there, equals, and so I'll have e to the sine y cosine y plus 1 times dy dx. And so if I solve that for dy dx, I get dy dx is equal to 4 over x times e to the sine y cosine y plus 1. For the next one, it says firefighter Everett is raising a ladder to the 3rd floor of a burning building. As the ladder elevates, the measure of the angle theta is going to change, and it's given us that d theta dt is equal to pi over 20 radians per second. At what rate does the slope of the ladder change when theta equals pi over 6? So the slope of the ladder is equal to tangent of theta Okay, so let's just let that be m. Let's just say m equals tangent theta. M is the slope of the ladder. And so the question is, I want to know at what rate the slope of that ladder changes. So I'm looking for dm dt. Okay, so I know that m is equal to tangent of theta. So I can say dm dt is equal to, derivative of tangent is secant squared theta times d theta dt. Okay, and so then I can go ahead and plug in what I know. So I can say dm dt is equal to secant squared of pi over 6, because I want to evaluate this when theta equals pi over 6. D theta dt I know is pi over 20. And so I can plug that into my calculator. Now, to get the secant squared, I'm going to need to use 1 divided by cosine. So let me show you how to type this into your calculator. So it'll be dm dt equals, and so I'll do 1 divided by cosine of pi over 6, and then that whole thing squared times pi over 20. So that's how I'll type that into my calculator. And you'll have to make sure you're in radian mode when you do this. Anytime you're using trig stuff in a calculus class, you're going to need to be in radian mode. So 1 divided by cosine of pi over 6, and that whole thing squared, and then times pi over 20. And that gives you 0.209. And that would be, well, let's see. For units here, it'll be, that's the rate of change of the slope. So the units of the slope would probably be, well, I'm not really given any units for the height or the width. So I guess I'll just leave that unitless. It's not clear what units I would use here. All right, the next one I'm asked to compute some derivatives, and so I can say g prime of x is equal to, so again, I'm just going to use power rule, so 24x to the third plus, here I've got a chain rule, so it's going to be 1 over the inside part times the derivative of the inside part. The derivative of square root of x, let's just think of that as x to the 1/2, so it'll be 1/2 x to the minus 1/2. The derivative of the 4 is just 0, so I can leave it like that. Plus the derivative of 8x will be just 8. Okay, so again, I'm doing implicitly, taking the derivative of an implicitly defined function. So that derivative of the x squared will be 2x minus derivative of sine y. I'm going to need to apply chain rule, so it will be cosine of y times the derivative of the inside, which is dy dx, equals. Now for the xy squared, I'm going to need to apply product rule, so that will be 1 times y squared plus, I'll leave the x alone, times the derivative of y squared is going to be 2y times dy dx from chain rule. Plus the derivative of e to the pi, well, e to the pi is just a constant, so the derivative of any constant is 0. Next, I want to rearrange so that all of the terms that have a dy dx in them are moved over to one side. So I can see that this term here has a dy dx, and so does this term here. I'll just move them over to the right and move everything without the dy dx over to the left. You could make the opposite choice if you wanted. So 2x minus y squared equals cosine y dy dx plus 2xy dy dx. Now I can factor out the dy dx. And then I can divide by that stuff that's multiplied by the dy dx. So I get dy dx is equal to 2x minus y squared divided by cosine y plus 2xy. And that's, I can just leave it just like that. For the next one, it says an airplane flying horizontally parallel to the ground in a straight line at an altitude of 8 kilometers passes directly over a radar antenna. So here's the radar antenna. And then the plane is flying up here. It is directly 8 kilometers above the radar antenna. And so, and it's traveling that way. So here's my airplane. When the distance between the plane and the antenna is 12 kilometers, so when that is 12 kilometers, the radar detects that the distance between the plane and the antenna is changing at that rate. At what speed is the airplane moving? So the airplane is moving along, so I can call this maybe x for that distance the plane is changing, and then the distance between the antenna and the plane is also changing. So both of those are changing quantities. Now the 8 is not changing because the airplane is flying at 8 kilometers above the ground. No matter where the plane is, it's always 8 kilometers above the ground. So I can actually go ahead and label that 8 there already. The other two I'll label with variables because they are actually changing quantities. So I'm given that dy dt is equal to 340 kilometers per hour. And I'm asked to find dx dt when y equals 12. Okay, so to start, I need to find a relationship between x and y. I can see it's a right triangle, so I can go ahead and use Pythagorean theorem. So I get 8 squared plus x squared equals y squared. I can take the derivative of this implicitly with respect to t. The derivative of 8 squared is just going to be 0, so I'll have 2x dx dt equals 2y dy dt. Now I want to plug in values, but I don't know the value of x at this moment. So I can go ahead and draw a triangle. Let me move that. I can draw it here. So when this is 12 and this is 8, I can find the value of the missing side. So I know that 8 squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. So that gives me that x squared is equal to 144 minus 8 squared, so that gives me 9,216, and then I could take the square root of that. And I get that it's 96. So I can plug that in here. So when y is 12, I know 96, that seems too big. Oh, I didn't divide. I didn't subtract, sorry. So it should be 12 squared, sheesh, hang on, let me back up. 12 squared minus 8 squared. I think I multiplied or something. I get 80. So x squared equals 80. So x is equal to the square root of 80, which is much smaller, 8.94. Okay, that makes more sense. That 96 was way too big. So 8.94. Okay, so now I can plug that in. This is an approximate value. So now I can plug all of those values in and solve for my dx dt. So I'll have 2 times 8.94 times dx dt equals 2 times y, we've given as 12, times dy dt, which we're given as 340. So I can divide that over 2 times 12 times 340, and then I want to divide that by 2 times 8.94. And when I do that, I get that dx dt equals 456.375, so maybe 38 kilometers per hour. So that's the speed of the plane. Okay, so for this one, I'm given a table of values for different values of x. I'm given values of f, g, f prime, and g prime. And then I'm given some different functions here. So I'm given if h of x equals f of g squared, okay, then h, okay, so what I need to do is I need to first figure out what h prime of x is. So that will be f prime of, leave the inside alone, g of x squared, times, now I'm going to take the derivative of the next layer in, so it'll be 2 times g of x to the first times g prime of x. Okay, sorry, that is g of x to the first power. Maybe I won't write that because it kind of looks like a prime. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done the chain rule multiple times. Now I want to plug in a value. So h prime of 2 is going to be f prime of g of 2 squared times 2 times g of 2 times g prime of 2. Okay, so let's plug in the values. So g of 2 is 1. And when I square that, I still get 1. So f prime of 1 times 2g of 2 times g prime of 2. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to do it. So f prime of 1 is 3 times 2 times g of 2 is 1 times g prime of 2 is negative 4. So I'm going to get negative 24 out of that. All right, so next I'm given if s of x equal x squared times arctan of f of x. Okay, so what is s prime of x going to be? Okay, it's going to be, I'm going to use product rule. So it'll be 2x arctan of f of x plus x squared times, the derivative of arctan is 1 over 1 plus the inside part squared. The inside part here is f of x times the derivative of the inside part, which is f prime of x. Okay, now I want to plug in values. So s prime of 4 is going to be, well, I'm going to plug 4 in for x. So it'll be 2 times 4 times arctan of f of 4 plus 4 squared, 1 over 1 plus f of 4 squared times f prime of 4. Okay, so let's sort that all out. So f of 4 is 0. Arctan of 0 is 0. So 2 times 4 times arctan 0, which is 0, plus 4 squared times 1 over 1 plus f of 4 is 0. And then f prime of 4 is 0. F prime of 4 is also 0. So that all zeroes out too. So everything gives me 0. Okay, if k of x equals 2 to the g of x, then k prime of 1. Okay, so k prime of x, which will be 2 to the, leave the g of x alone, times natural log 2 times g prime of x. Okay, now I want to plug in 1. So k prime of 1 equals 2 to the g of 1 is negative 1, natural log 2, g prime of 1 is 6. Okay, so I can leave it just like that. Or I can simplify it, I guess, to be 3 natural log 2, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. Yep, so I can leave it like that. Okay, so for this first one, I'm given that f of x is equal to pi times x to the e to the pi. So one thing we might notice is that this e to the pi is just a constant. So really I just have x to a power. So if I want to take the derivative, f prime of x, I'm just going to use the power rule. So that constant out front, the pi will stay put. I'll have e to the pi, x to the e to the pi minus 1. This next one is not one you're going to have to worry about with the theta measured in degrees, so I'm just going to X that one out. Okay, this one, I'm trying to find dy dx for this implicitly defined curve. So the derivative of y with respect to x will be dy dx minus, this is going to involve chain rule, so the derivative of secant is secant tangent. And then I'll need to take the derivative of the 4 to the y, which will be 4 to the y times the natural log of 4, and then the derivative of the y itself, so that's dy dx. The x times y, we'll have to use product rule, so it'll be 1 times y plus x times dy dx. And then I'll have plus the derivative of sine x is just going to be cosine x. Okay, this is a lot to look at, so let's underline the terms that have a dy dx in them. So this one has a dy dx, this term has a dy dx, this term has a dy dx. So the terms with dy dx I'll get over on the left, and the terms that don't have a dy dx I'll keep on the right side. So I'll have dy dx minus secant of 4 to the y, tangent of 4 to the y, 4 to the y, natural log 4, dy dx, and then minus x dy dx equals y plus cosine x. Now I can factor the dy dx out and divide by the remaining stuff, so I'll end up with dy dx equals y plus cosine x divided by what's left over. So when I factor out the dy dx, I'll just have 1 in that first term minus secant of 4 to the y, tangent of 4 to the y, 4 to the y, natural log 4, minus, and then this term here, when I divide out the dy dx, I'll just be left with x. Okay, so that's my final answer there.